Hello and good morning, everyone. Today, Steve and I are going to discuss healthy communication, how to harvest, how to collect information during communication that can help strengthen the way we communicate with each other. Sometimes it's asking the proper questions, and sometimes it's just shutting the trap and listening. Steve will be on here shortly with us, so good morning. And I hope everyone is having a happy, what is today? Wednesday already. Let me see, I think he's here. Let's go ahead and pull him in. Good morning, sorry for the hands, guys. I always hate that part. Hello, good morning. So Steve will be spotting in a couple of minutes here. And we're just gonna talk briefly on healthy communication in the way that how we actually can help strengthen our communication styles, like answering or asking questions neutrally, having good morning. How are you?
I'm excellent. Thanks for asking. I'm going to be a little shaky today.
Yeah, you're kind of on
I got to hold my phone.
Jet-setting day, aren't you?
Pardon?
Today's another jet-setting day where you're heading off out of the country.
That's right. Going out to Australia today.
How exciting!
Yeah, it's going to be great. We're really excited.
I bet. So you guys are all packed up and ready to go.
Yeah, we're going to be there about 6 weeks. It's going to be a nice long journey, and we're going to have a great time. Work, of course, 4 or 5 days out of the week, and then enjoy the weekend. So that's what it's going to be all about.
Very exciting. So we're still going to do our show, right? Or did we figure out?
Well, we're 14 hours difference. We're going to figure out what time I got to get up to make that happen, I think.
Oh, I love it. You're so dedicated. That's awesome.
Yeah.
We have to maybe switch it 1 hour or a half hour or one direction or another, maybe, see if that can help out.
Yeah, because I'm 14 hours difference from the East Coast, so I think that would be, and I'm not sure whether it's closer to your time or not, so it might only be like 11 hours difference. So it'd be 11 o'clock at night probably for me to jump on there.
Oh,
so
okay. That wouldn't be too bad, I guess.
Yeah, we'll figure it out when we get closer.
Great.
So we're talking today about
harvesting communication, yes.
That's it.
Yes, healthy communication. I had kind of briefly discussed a little bit about it before you got on, talking about how, learning to ask the right questions and when to listen. So really being an engaged listener. And when I think of harvest, I think of fall, obviously, and that's kind of part of the reason why I pulled it in that way. So
I'm sorry, were you saying something? I'm sorry, were you saying something? Oh, I'm supposed to be paying attention. Oh.
So learning that, that time of year where we can reflect and collect and literally pull more into our communication styles. So when you hear harvest healthy communication, what do you think of, Steve?
I think it's really, for me, if somebody said, hey, would you want to participate in harvesting healthy communications? The harvesting would be my challenge, but healthy communication, and that's how to bring them in, how to reap the rewards from having a great conversation. Is that where you're heading?
Yes and no. I mean, obviously communication is all about, being able to connect and understand each other, but I'm more, when I'm putting in the word harvest, I think of, pulling in, gathering information. So I'm talking more about communication styles where you're more listening and asking questions to pull in proper, conclusions. So you're really supporting each other, being a good listener and being more in a stance of understanding instead of trying to get your thoughts across, more about understanding that dynamic, creating a better dialogue of communication. So
Absolutely.
Your listening skills.
Yeah, and a lot of the things that people don't really understand about that is when we have these, and I just drew a blank on what they're called, but it's all of the things that we do to tell somebody we're listening. It's not just staring at them with blank eyes. It's nodding, or it's saying or it's showing that you're involved in their communication. Quite often it's asking, right? Asking questions like, I don't quite get what you're saying there. Could you clarify that for me? So it's, when you talk about harvesting those communications, it's all about giving the positive modifiers that tell people that you're paying attention. Your body language. It is your eye contact, because I tend to get distracted. So you'll see me like if a jet were behind you, I tend to glance off to the side. And a lot of people are really offended when you lose focus with them. And I've had people say to me, are you really listening to me? Because you keep looking away. And I go, I'm constantly listening to you. but I also am a distracted watcher, so I can glance at somebody because, especially in today's society, I believe in keeping yourself informed about everything going on around you. You know, and that's important to me as a vital instance of knowing what's happening. But I also need to communicate that with whoever I'm trying to listen to while they're talking to me, right?
Right, yeah, it's the giving attention to what's going on around you is important, but also being engaged. So I think a lot of people in our society, some societies, if you make eye contact with an elder, you're actually frowned upon. So it's a lot of cultural differences too. You know, you have different dynamics. But understanding like what kind of are you sitting on the floor?
No, I just got. I was sitting over there, and I wanted to sit over here.
It looked like you were about to sit on the floor. I'm sorry, I got all distracted.
Yeah, that's all right. If you see me sitting on the floor, you know there's problems. That's all I say. Because it's not the sitting down; it's the getting up. Right? When you get to be my age, you'll go, "Boy, it's hard to get up, isn't it?" I go, "Oh, yeah." Of course, by the time you're my age. Yeah, by the time you're my age, see, you won't have to get me up because there'll just be wheelchairs and that kind of stuff.
Oh, stop. You're in great shape.
Well, I'm in okay shape. I'm going to be better after this trip because we've made some promises that we're going to do along the way. But, you know, I'm 69 years old, be 70 this year. And so I consider myself, you know, upwardly mobile yet and certainly often engaged. So.
And I don't think you look like your age. I get that all the time.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, you're only 35, so we don't have that to worry about.
No, unfortunately, try 10 years more. I'm a lot older than I perceive. So, yeah, I think that when we talk about healthy communication, I go back to the whole concept of like really getting dialed into your listening skills and really focusing on asking probing questions that help people connect to you. You know, like there's status questions, you know, like how do you feel about that? What are you thinking? Where are you going with that? But sometimes even repeating what we've heard helps somebody understand what, you know, we're receiving. Are we receiving what they are intending us to, you know, to communicate? Or are we still kind of missing the mark? Sometimes it's really important. I also had an experience this morning. I was working with a client early this morning, and he was talking about how to, like, this girl's flying into town and how to be ready for this experience because they're on kind of he's not sure how she feels, and it's their first meeting. And so he's trying to get, he really likes her, but he doesn't know if she likes him, and there's all that dicey, you know, energy around it, right? So I think it's really kind of fun and important to know, you know, what exactly, you know, that communication should become cleared up before you get together, so you're on the same page and it doesn't change the experience. So I encourage people to say, you know, after this, so this weekend, I'm really excited about you coming. Do you think we could do this, this, and this together, or would you like more time by yourself? It's the communication that helps bridge that discomfort. And I think that can actually make it more safe.
I think that's really true. Yeah, when you're talking about creating a healthy relationship, you have to start it off right. That's really important. I mean, when I was dating, go back several years, but when I was dating, you know, I would go to meet somebody, and it might be from Tampa down to Miami, and I'd say, well, I'm going to drive down and see you. And they'd go, you're going to drive all the way down? And I'd go, of course. And I'd go, can you suggest a good hotel? And I had this one lady, when I said, can you suggest a good hotel I might stay? And she went, well, you're not staying with me. I went, no, that's why I just asked for a hotel. And she went, because the last guy who stayed with me was this, and this. And I was like, wait a minute, I don't think I asked to stay with you. I think I asked if there was a hotel down there. Oh, it was. And so, long story short, after that conversation, I said, I'm not even going to come down because just the attitude, you know, when she should have been listening better, you know, as opposed to jumping to her own conclusions, and certainly derailed that guy big time in terms of calling him out on things that he supposedly did. It's two-sided. You don't know what he really did and what she really thought he did. So
sounds like
it was real tough. So I decided, yeah. So it was way too early to be discussing those kind of things and ripping on somebody. So I just went, you know what? Hey, let's make this another time. I got things coming up anyway. And so we did.
Good idea.
Can you hear the baby crying? Is the baby crying part of?
I do hear the baby crying.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out a way to mute or to put this off when I'm not talking. So I'll try and cover it and see if that helps.
Right. I don't know if you can mute I don't think you can mute your phone. Being on live is a little different than on the phone.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. You know, I appreciate it. I understand. I think also, I love what Kevin just said. Also knowing timing. A lot of the times we interject or share too much or share information. I don't really believe we share too much, but we share things too soon before people are ready to receive. Kind of like what you were talking about. A lot of the times we are already at the end of a relationship and we haven't even started it, and we can get ourselves into trouble that way. You know, we're already, you know, thinking that this is something bigger than what it is, or maybe just even holding a boundary for like you were saying, holding a boundary for herself and saying to the person, hey, I really am excited about you coming, but I really don't feel comfortable with you staying. You know, it's important to have, you know, experiences.
You know, and that's it, you know, the boundaries that we have to set and establishing that. You know, it's one thing, like you said, it's one thing for her to say, this is what I expect, these are my expectations. A whole other thing to say, you can't, or you shouldn't, or you won't. You know, if
Right.
you and I were getting together for even a drink or something, I'd go, hey, as we establish this relationship, as we sit down, you know, I just want you to know that, hey, we're going to sit down for a couple drinks. And quite frankly, I don't expect them to be champagne. You know, and, you know, set a boundary. Well, that sounds funny, but I had one lady that I met, and she was actually, when I got there, she was drinking a drink. So I just said, hey, she'll have another and I'll have one. And we didn't hit it off in any way, shape, or form. So 15, 20 minutes later, you know, I said, hey, you know, pull the chute and get out. And then I got the bill, and she'd been drinking $35 glasses of champagne.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
and I was like, that kind of hits me wrong, but, you know, she didn't care. She was off and running. But yeah, you know, you can find some humor. And of course, the next time I would talk to somebody about doing that, I go, and you're not allowed to have $35 glasses of champagne. And I'd grin, and they'd go, oh yeah, that's all right. I don't drink that kind of stuff. And it was played off lightly, but I wanted them to have the idea, you know, this is where we're going.
Well, I think a lot of people, when we are dating, have different stories and different experiences of the past. I know when I was dating, a lot of the men were like so shocked that I was willing to contribute 50% of the bill, or, you know, or pay for my portion, you know, whatever. A lot of the times people have this expectation that it's a date, you pay, or, you know, I kind of at least offer, and the guy says, no, I really old school, I prefer to pay. They're not even more appreciative, you know, and they feel more respected. I think it's learning those communications, you know, never be afraid to ask, never be afraid to engage in those kind of those uncomfortable conversations. And a lot of times, the only reason we're having a miss is because we're not.
Yeah, and you know, along that line, it's really important also to understand when you said you contribute 50%. I've had women who said, hey, you know, I'm willing to pay 50%. Well, that meant they really weren't. So I would say, nope, don't worry about it. And they'd go, okay, thanks. And then I had ladies who said, hey, I'm going to pay for my half. And I go, no, it's not necessary. And they just do it like this. No, you know, I'm going to pay my half until we decide we're a couple or we're going to date. You know, that's only fair. And I said, that's really true. So then you'd say, okay, because they are also in charge of themselves. It's like, it's one thing to go, I'm willing to pay 50%, you know, or it's, hey, no, I'm going to pay 50%. And I sure appreciate you offering to pay the whole thing. But, you know, that way they also said, hey, I'm your equal, and we're going to move forward on this relationship. And it was really cool. I really appreciated the women. But also, you hear from the ladies who say the men, you know, are like too macho. No, you're not going to pay. And they'd almost get into an argument about it. And you got to go, you know, that tells something about your personality to those people too. And those things are the things we have to worry about when, harvesting those communications is really vital to your success.
Yeah. I really think it's important to even ask yourself, if we can flip it back on yourself when you're harvesting, you know, that opportunity to ask yourself questions like, what am I, like you're saying, what is my experience? Where's my reality coming from? A lot of my experiences could be happening because of the way I'm thinking up, right? So asking those questions, having an internal dialogue is an opportunity also. Why didn't I think of asking those questions? Or why didn't I, you know, put myself in that experience? Sometimes, like even with a full being at the table, maybe trying to say something, sometimes it's a gesture of sliding your credit card halfway, letting someone know, and they can say no or yes. And it's just different ways you can share that expression with people. I think it's important to understand that balance, everything that, it doesn't always have to be an uncomfortable conversation or a deep thought. It's our actions that match our authenticity. So, good morning. A lot of people are saying hello. Good morning. So I think it's really important to have that healthy balance and have that relationship where both people feel that it's full of integrity and supported properly. Oh, look at all the hearts.
Yeah, good, huh?
Did you see all those
See, I don't
hearts?
get to see any. I don't get to see any of that stuff. I'm being
No,
ripped off.
well, you're getting lots of hearts over your shoulders.
But that is, when we talk about communication, that really is one of the, to me, that's like the key to your success. I just posted a couple days ago. I posted one meme. I think it's out on Instagram that says this is one of the 10 keys to relationship success. Yesterday I posted number 2, and I'm putting out things that I think are vital. Of course, one of them is communication, and it was you have to learn how to ask for clarity and not ask as an accusation. And there's a huge difference, did you mean to call me a jerk, or hey, did you really mean to say it this way? Big differences in how we do communicate.
Absolutely, yeah. People get stuck in attachments, and also taking things personal, like just even the way somebody will say you are. We get so invested in this belief that they're telling us who we are. And in truth, they're really probably talking about the subject or the issue. You're coming across as a jerk, or this is the experience I'm having, is I feel like you're treating me like a jerk. Instead of, that detachment is so important. I think that can help neutralize a lot of the way we communicate with each other. So it's all about how you show up and how to pull in information and allow yourself to have that experience without getting derailed into this belief that, it's the fight to be right, or the fight to be heard, or the fight to be
I've been reading a lot of good communication books lately, and it always pushes me out of what I'm going to be writing, because I think down here when I get down to Australia, I'll be pushing finishing up my newest book, which is Shut Up and Succeed. And it's all about communication. It's how we need to spend more time listening, more time questioning, and a lot less time talking. And that's what most of us don't really get anymore. I was walking through the airport, and there was a headline up on one of the TVs, and one of the news channels said, "Are we back to guilty until proven innocent?"
Ooh,
and I thought that was, and I thought that was really, well, and it is, because so many of us hear a rumor and believe that it's true. That's why when I said the one lady was telling me all about this other guy, so there's always two sides. I heard her side, which was the guy was a real jerk. But probably if you talk to the guy, he'd think she was a real jerk, And so we do have to have that open communication, which is shut up and let somebody else tell us. And there's a phrase out there that's like, it's better that somebody thinks you're stupid than you open your mouth and prove them right, or something like that,
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you listening with integrity, right? Not, not jumping to conclusions or thinking they're going a direction that they're not really going. Slowing down the conversation in order to get clarity. It's a dance, right? Like any other performance, we need to learn to
I don't know if she's frozen up. Are you back?
Oh, here we go. Sorry about that.
There you go.
The one thing about doing live TV, if somebody calls in, it freezes everything.
I know, is that what that was? Somebody called, yeah.
I get a lot of calls from overseas, so a lot of the times, their day is just ending, so they start calling in to do their session, so it's pretty funny. Not available right now.
I just had to set that up. Yeah, I just had to set that up on my phone because my wife got international calling on her phone. But so we didn't really want to spend that extra money on my phone, so we just called in and the guy, the Verizon guy on the other end, just kept talking, and we had to keep interrupting him. I mean, it was like,
oh, no.
This is, and we went, wait, we have we were like, wait, hold on, back up. We have a question about this, but he was so used to saying his pitch. That was his international pitch of everything thrown at you at once. Yeah, and so it took a little interrupting on our part, but I tell people now, everybody who wants to call me needs to call me and leave a message now, because I got a new message for my answering machine, because I'm not going to be picking up the phone while I'm in Australia. It's like, I think it was $1.40 a minute right? And then there were data charges on top of that. Yeah. And I said, I'm not paying that, so I'm gonna, we're gonna take my SIM card out so people can call and get my answering machine for the next 5-6 weeks. But I put a nice little new shrimp on the Barbie type answering machine. So you should call in after the show and just leave a message.
I'd love to hear what you said. It's got the little, you put the little accent in.
Oh, sure. As good as I can do. You know how that goes.
Oh, you got to give us a sample now that you put yourself up for it. Let's hear it.
It's, "G'day, mates. G'day. We're going to be traveling today." That's what it's all about.
I love it. What an exciting adventure you're about to. It'll be fun to see the different type of communication styles you bump into while you're out there. I'm sure cultural differences will be pretty interesting.
Well, we watch a lot of what we call Acorn TV. I don't know if but there's a channel out there called Acorn TV, and I stumbled across it last year in one of my hotel journeys that I found it on the internet. And it's $5 a month for this all British, or we thought it was British TV, but it turns out more to be Australian and New Zealand TV. So we've got we've been listening for about the last 6 or 8 months to some really good, wholesome, wonderful shows that we've enjoyed immensely, and much better than Lifetime TV type stuff. But we got so many terminology differences, how they refer to just refer to different things that we go, oh, that's what they call this. And so it'll be interesting being down there for as long, when you're down for a vacation, a week or two, you catch some nice phrases, but when you're down there for 6 or 7 weeks, we'll really be listening for the differences. It'll be good.
Yeah, you'll have to bring some to us. Share with us what you learned.
I'm really looking forward to it, yeah.
Yeah, I know you've got to hop on a plane here very soon. Are we pushing you close to the edge here?
You know what? I don't even know what time it is, but yeah. I'm done. So I'll punch myself out. You go ahead and talk to them about the communication. Go ahead and push yourself into their living rooms and let them see the beautiful Tamra. And then also, don't forget, everybody, that we're going to be doing a live event on February 9th, I believe is the date. But she'll firm that up with you, but down in Tampa. And we'd love to have you come down in the middle of winter and really enjoy a 85-degree day with us and spend the weekend after the event. We'd love to see you. So I'm going to punch out. I'm going to go grab on my plane ride to Australia.
Enjoy. Have a safe trip. We'll talk to you on the other side. Bye. Well, thanks, guys, so much for joining us today. To be an amazing fall season. I hope you all get a chance to really dial into some new communication styles and harvesting, collecting wisdom instead of just interacting. It'd be fun to play with this idea of really dancing around the conversation and asking questions that are a little bit deeper and really invest. And you never know the fruits of your labor, what you'll come up with. So hope you all have a wonderful day. Ooh, you all. I guess I turned Southern on you. Have a wonderful day and be blessed.